Hi, today we are going to look at a set that uses the Mediterranean Blooms DSP along with the Citrus Blooms stamp set. Right now the bundles are on sale, an additional 10% off. And what's nice is you get all of these dies in addition to the stamps. It comes with 9 stamps, and so you will have everything you need to make the set if you decide to place this order. If you choose to do this and you use this host code for $35 or more, I will send you a free card kit that will give you everything you need to make the 4 cards that we're about to look at. And in addition to that, you will also receive a package of the gems, which are really pretty, and you'll see them used on this. Right now, these are out of stock, but they're supposed to be available again the beginning of July. And so I am planning to mail all of these kits the beginning of July for anyone who orders. So if your order is $50 or more, I will also include the gems. And those will be mailed out that first week of July or as soon as these gems become available. If you order $35, between $35 and $50, you'll get the card kit, and that will definitely be mailed the 1st of July. So let's get started with the first one. We're going to make this cute card that has the oranges on it and says hello. So this is kind of a nice greeting card to send someone. So let's see. We're going to start with our pieces. And so on this one, I'm just going to start with a pumpkin pie card base. And then on that, I like using the multi-purpose glue. I know different people have different things that they want to use, but I like the versatility of this because you can move things around after you have placed it down, and it's a little bit more forgiving than using the regular stamp and seal. The other thing I have found in my classes is if people are not used to using the stamp and seal, a lot of times the tape runners end up all over the table, and it's just a lot of fun. So as a result of that, I've kind of switched to the multi-purpose glue, and I've gotten used to it, and I really like that. So it's kind of nice. It just gives you a little bit more versatility. You just have to try not to stick your fingers in it. I have done that once or twice. So, all right, so here we go. This paper is so pretty. I just really like this. Okay, so I cut out one of the die cut circles out of the spotlight on nature. Let me punch these little holes out that didn't die cut. And I think this die set is so pretty on that spotlight of nature. So we're going to use garden green on this. And we're going to stamp hello just in the bottom portion of the circle. And then we're going to use our pop-up dots. Let me grab those. Here we go. I forgot that I would need dimensionals to attach some of this. Silly. We're just going to kind of put this in the center of our card. And then I have already die cut one of the leaves of the oranges out of the paper. What's nice about this paper is if you don't get the dies for this, you can always cut these out, just fussy cut them. Of course, it's always nice if you have the dies, but if you don't, fussy cutting will definitely do the trick. Right now, with the stamp and die bundles being an additional 10% off, that saves you some extra money, which is always nice. And so you can get it for a savings whenever compared to normal price. So, and what I did is I just put dimensionals on the top part that's kind of sitting where the circle is not, because I've already put dimensionals underneath the circle. And then from here, we're going to take our linen thread and tie a double bow. So what I tend to do is just kind of pull it out a little bit and then just make a bow using 2 strands instead of 1. Let's see if I can do this without dropping it on the floor. That's always fun. It's like, whoops, there it went. It's kind of like fetch for stampers. All right, and then we'll take our scissors and just kind of snip this, and then use a mini glue dot. And just put this at the base of the stems, and then that way we kind of have that. And you can trim this to your liking. I tend to, if I have the space, I keep the, the tails a little bit longer, but it just kind of depends on what I'm doing and how I feel that day. So, all right, and we're just going to throw a few embellishments on this. I really like these embellishments. I just think they're so pretty. I wasn't surprised that they went unorderable as quickly as they did, but I'm really looking forward to them coming back. And then we'll use some of the smaller ones for the other parts of this. I think I used clear on my original card on this part, but I think I'm going to try using some of the orange ones and see what they look like. It's kind of pretty. All right, I tend to put an odd number just because I don't want it to be super symmetrical all the time. So I tend to try to put an odd number just to keep things a little more balanced. And here's our first card. If you want to decorate the inside, one thing you could do that I did on the original one, and I do this a lot, I just did a 3.5 by 5 that is, or I'm sorry, 3 3/4 by 5, and then put 3/4 by 3 3/4 of designer series paper at the bottom that matches the front of the card. And that's just an easy thing. And then like this is a hello card, so then you can write whatever message you would like to put inside. So there's card number 1. All right, so let's go to card number 2. I'm trying to stay organized so that I can show all of them to you at the end. So here's the second one that we're going to do, and I just think this is a really pretty set. I love blues, and so anytime I can find paper with blues in it, it always makes me happy. I have a good friend, and we've known each other for many, many years, and she used to always tease me that everything I did was in blues. I tend to stray a little more away from that now, but probably not as much as what some people do. But I don't know, I've just always liked blues. They just make me happy. All right, so the first part of this is just to glue the designer series paper. And by the way, this is 4 by 5 1/4. I don't think I said that on the last one, but on this other card, your measurements, let me pull this over for you. The peach pie that's on here for the base was 5 by 3 3/4, and the DSP was 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So that way it kind of gives you an idea. And this old olive circle is approximately 3 1/4 inches. And this is found in the Spotlight on Nature dies. For this card, we're going to start with our designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. So that gives you some measurements to go by if you already own all of this and are wanting to make it. There we go. All right, and then this one has this saying that just says, just checking in. We're going to stamp this in Night of Navy, and we will use this stamp color for just about everything else that we do. Again, I like blues, so it just makes it easy. Whoops. All right, close this up so it doesn't dry out. And then I am just going to kind of trim this with my scissors. And there are no exact measurements on this. It's just whatever you want to do to make it work. So we're going to use dimensionals on our Countryside Corners die that I cut in the Night of Navy cardstock. Stick one in the middle just to make sure it doesn't collapse on us. This paper is so pretty. I had the privilege several years ago to work for a company that had their corporate headquarters in Italy, and it reminds me of when we would drive to the office every day, just the pretty vineyards and stuff that we would pass by. It was just gorgeous. And we actually went the week before COVID hit in that part of Italy. So we were very fortunate not to come back and spread anything to our families, which is always fun. But so it was the end of January. It was the very last week of January in 2020 whenever I was there for that. But seeing the vineyards there were really pretty. And of course, most of them were pretty dormant at that time just because of the time of year that it was. But it was still very pretty. But this paper reminds me of that. Okay, and then I used dimensionals on the sentiment just to make it pop up a little bit. You know, if you want it to be more flat, since the Night of Navy cardstock is already popped up, you can certainly do that. But I kind of liked having it stick up a little more just to give it some extra dimension. And then again, we are going to tie, I did a double bow with the linen thread just to make it a little bit easier. And all I do is take 2 pieces of the linen thread and then just make a bow. So it's nothing overly fancy or complicated because I'm not talented to do that and put it on a video. So, but this is pretty simple, and then you just kind of work with it and get it to be the size that you want it, and then just cut it with the scissors. So, and this one again is at the top, so we'll keep our strands just a little bit long, and that way we can always trim it. It's always better to start long and trim shorter than trim short and wish you would have made it longer. So it's a little easier to fix. Okay, and then we'll put some dimensionals, or not dimensionals, but some embellishments on here. And this time we'll use a combination of the navy ones as well as the clear. They're just so pretty, and I love the glow that they have on them. In the catalog, you know, you can see them in the catalog, but to me, they just aren't near as pretty in the catalog as they are whenever you see them in person. And especially if you get a card with them, that's always even better. So we'll do one right here. We'll do another one kind of, how about right here? That'll work. It's a little bit different than the other one. And that gives us our 5. We'll do one more in the blue just because the blues are so pretty. We'll stick it right there. So, so this is what this one will look like whenever you're finished. If you want to decorate the inside, what I did is I put a piece of the 3 3/4 by 5 of the boho blue in here and used the same designer series paper and made it 3 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And then that way it just kind of sets that up for you. So that's card number 2. All right, card number 3 looks like this. I didn't use the linen trim on this one. I actually used the Night of Navy and Gold ribbon. That's so pretty. So we're gonna do that. This one has a few more pieces to it, but it's still not super complicated. It's just got a couple more pieces added to it. So let's see. Put all of our pieces here so I don't lose something. Okay. All right, so on this one, before we glue anything to the card front, we want to fix our white paper that's going to have, this is our basic white DSP, and the measurements for this are 3 3/4 by 5. As you can tell, I use those measurements quite a bit. And then we're going to put 3 of our DSP strips on the card, and what we're going to do is just kind of space these out to where, and you can do them however you want. We actually did this in a card class yesterday at my home, and I noticed some of the people put them all together and some spread them out. So you can do however you want to do it. At the end of the day, it's your card. And when you send it to someone, they're never going to say, well, the other one that I saw looked like this, because they're not going to see the others. They're just going to see the one you send them. So you can create it however you would like to create it. So, and these rectangular pieces that I am gluing on now, the measurements for these, whoops, let me get this straight, are 4 3/4 by 1 1/8 inches. So there's 3 of them, and they're all the same exact size, and they're 4 3/4 by 1 1/8. And the white sheet of paper, the basic white cardstock, is 3 3/4 by 5. So that kind of gives you the measurements for all of these. And then when I did these, I tried to leave just a little bit of a gap in between them. But again, you can do it to whatever way you like it the best. I just love this paper. I know I've said that like 40 times now, but I just think it's so pretty. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the oranges and put those here. And before we do that, we're going to take our navy ribbon. What did I do with it? It's here somewhere. And we're going to just wrap this around this DSP, and we're going to tie a knot. So that makes it pretty simple. So you don't even have to know or feel comfortable with making a bow. You can just literally tie a knot. And what's nice is once you get it tied, you can rearrange it or however you would like to do that. So I think the hardest part sometimes is to keep it from getting loose. But if it does come a little bit loose on you, you can always use glue dots, mini glue dots, to kind of hold it down in place. And then it looks like you had it that way the whole time. All right, and then we're just going to trim this to where it kind of lays the way we want it to lay. This one's kind of twisting on me a little bit, so I'll just kind of play with this a little, and again, if we need to, we'll use those mini glue dots to hold it down. All right, so now we're going to glue this to our card base, and it's just going to go like this. I might raise it up just a tad. So we'll stick some magic glue on the back. You could raise this on dimensionals if you wanted to. I'm going to actually put the oranges on dimensionals, and so for that reason I kind of wanted to keep this part a little bit flatter. So, but you are welcome to do that if you would like to. So now we have our oranges. So we're just going to kind of tuck this down below the ribbon just a tad. But I am going to put some dimensionals on this just to raise it up a little bit. I'm trying to mainly put these in the center of the body of this, just in case some of this, you know, goes off, because at the end of the day, I just want to make sure it sticks to the card and it doesn't fall off. That's the most important thing. And then you can always go back and add more. All right, so we're just going to place that like that. And on this one, I did not put any of the twine at the top. You could certainly do that if you wanted to. And then we're going to stamp this one in Night of Navy again. We're going to stamp it and say, all the love. So this is one of those cards that you could send to someone, whether they're just going through a rough time, or you just want to send them a message and let them know that you're thinking about them. Or maybe it's their birthday and you want to say that to them. You can do that as well. So, and then I just trimmed this with my scissors. I didn't get super technical with some of this trimming, and I didn't use a lot of die cuts on these, but you could if you wanted. We'll see if I can cut it straight. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You just never know. So, but so far it's not too bad. We'll see what it looks like at the end. That's what matters. but I think that'll work. All right, so now we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals just to make it stand out a little bit. It is a little bit crooked, but at the end of the day, it still sends the same amount of love. Get that off my finger. All right, we'll just put this down here at the bottom. The one thing I didn't do was I also have a couple of the die cut leaves, and these are also in the old olive. I believe that's correct. Let me make sure. Yes, in the old olive cardstock. But you could, and I just used glue dots on the original one. And so we're going to take one of these, I guess, and we'll just kind of tuck it up underneath there. I may not use the second one because I don't really know that I need it. On the original card, I had two of them, but I also had a different orange where I did one of the single oranges. Excuse me. Here's the original one, and you can see I have two here, and so I felt like I needed a little bit more of the leaf pattern. But on this one, since I only have one, or since I have all three, I only needed one leaf. So we're just going to use the one and not worry about the second one. We will put some dimensionals, or not dimensionals, but embellishments on here. And I used the blue ones for this because they're just so pretty. It's hard to leave the blue ones unused. One of the demonstrators that I like to watch her videos made the comment, and I think this is so true. She said it's better to have your dimensionals on a card than it's still in the packet whenever you quit using them or when you run out of paper. So I do tend to put quite a few just because I just really like them. I think they're so pretty. So we'll put a couple on the oranges too, and then that way it picks up the colors of that, which is so pretty. I like anything that has that iridescent pattern to it. So this is our card. I think this looks pretty nice. This was the original one that I made, and on the inside I did a sheet of basic white cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5, and then I used the same designer series paper as that middle strip, and on this one I made it 1 inch by 3 3/4. So you are welcome to duplicate that. And then our final card is this one that we're going to do. And it says, "You're the best kind of person." So this is a fun card to send to someone that you want to tell them thank you. You want to just give them a message that, you know, you just really like them for whatever reason. And so it makes it kind of nice to have a message like that to send. All right. When I send your card kit to you, everything will come scored. All of the die cuts will come die cut. All of the cardstock is cut, die cut, or dry embossed. I don't think I have any embossed pieces on this one. But if any of that is part of the kit that you're getting, then that will be done for you. This particular kit uses Night of Navy as your card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then you score it at 4 1/4, and that's what all of my card base measurements are. And then this piece of designer series paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So again, we're just going to use the glue and glue that down. I try not to use a ton of glue on these because I don't want glue coming out of the sides if I can help it. Every now and then it does. And it does dry clear, which is nice. But, I don't know. And I don't want it to have like a lot of little bubbles in it whenever you get it glued down. So that makes it nice to be able to do that. You will also get a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and then a basic white piece that is 2.5 by 3 3/4 inches. And we're going to stamp on this white piece before we glue this down. And so this is where I love this stamp. It's so cute. It's just these little, I don't even know what you call them, like X's maybe. And on these our oranges are actually going to cover up a little bit of them, so we may not see all of them. But that is kind of what they look like. And then at the bottom of this white, we're going to stamp in Night of Navy and just write, "You're the best kind of person." There we go. Okie doke. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue this on top of the Night of Navy cardstock. We're just going to center this on here. I think my little X's are a little bit crooked, but again, no one's ever going to see what the original card looked like. So that's the good thing. All right. And then I'm going to glue this on here. You could use dimensionals, but again, I'm going to use dimensionals on this piece. So I'm trying not to add so many layers that you have to add extra stamps whenever you mail this. Because the post office does look at the thickness in addition to the weight. So I try to not make it so thick that you're going to have to put 2 and 3 stamps on there. Okay? And then we're going to use dimensionals on this. And see, like, you're not even going to see very many of these X's, unfortunately, because this one uses, when I did this card originally, I only had the 1 orange on there, but this one has the 3. So that's the only bad thing about using the ones with the 3. You could trim this down if you wanted to. We're probably not even going to see the X's the way this is looking. But if you use the designer series paper and you just cut out the one with the 1 orange, then you can have it to where the X's are showing. So that's kind of fun. So we are going to use dimensionals on this and pop this up. I kind of like the X's, so there's a part of me that would, if I had it to do again, I would go back and just do the 1 so that they would show. And I would also try to stamp them a little straighter the second time around. Sometimes doing these on a video is a little bit different than just doing them in my craft room whenever I can focus and get things right. So, all right, and you can see here the X is actually kind of peeking out the middle. So, and I put this one in a little bit different spot. So we're going to double up our linen thread again. Another thing you could do, and I've actually done this before on some other cards that I've done, is I have tripled this linen thread, and it makes really cute bows whenever you do that. And they're just a little bit more full and kind of fun, especially whenever we have like the twine that is in the different colors. I did a set back the first of the year, I want to say it was January or February, as a part of my club, and it was really fun. It had the balloons and all the different colors of twine. It was really cute. And on a couple of those, I think I did triple bows, and it was kind of fun to do that. All right, so let's put a glue dot on here and put this on here. You know, if you wanted to, you could use that blue and gold ribbon on all of these, and it would be really pretty. I just had the twine, and I really liked it, and I felt like it kind of reminded me of the vineyards and just kind of how organic they are, and so that's why I use those. On this one, since I had a little bit more white space, I used the blue just because they kind of pop. And so we'll do that on this one. And then we'll do our final one. I don't know. It's kind of, we'll just stick it over here. And then you can load this up with as many or as few cards as you'd like and do that. So here is our final one. Again, this was the one that I did originally. And on the inside, I put boho blue at 3 3/4 by 5 with a piece of the same designer series paper as the front. And that measures 3 3/4 inches wide by 3/4 inches tall. So if you would like to get this card kit, you can use the host code that is here on my online store of Stampin' Up's website, and you will receive with the host code a kit to make all 4 of these, where all of the cardstock will be included for you, and all of the designer series paper will be cut out and ready for you to go, just like the ones you see here. And then that is free with a $35 purchase using this host code. If you spend $50, I will also include a pack of the embellishments that are the opal round assortments, and those will be available again the beginning of July. And this is my June ordering special. So as long as you place your order using this host code by the end of June, you will receive that kit in the mail at the beginning of July. One thing I did want to tell you, if you are interested, I am having a mystery craft box that is being offered through the deadline to register for that is Monday, June 24th. And I'm not going to tell you everything that's in it because it is a mystery, but it's going to be using the Country Birdhouse. And just like my card kits, everything will be cut, die cut, and dry embossed for you. I'm trying to mix embossed and cutting. So everything will be in there that you will need to make. It'll have 4 cards and 2 3D projects, and you'll receive enough stuff to make 2 of each one. So you'll get a total of 12 projects, including the cards and everything. There will also be some pillow gifts and some fun Stampin' Up goodies. So that will be a lot of fun if you're interested in that. The other card kit that I have going right now is this is our club kit for this month. And if you are interested, you will get a half pack of the designer series paper, and then you will get these 4 cards, and you get enough supplies to make 2 of each. You will need the stamp set, which is the sketched butterflies, and then that will be sent to you by the 20th of the month. But you can get more information on the club kit at inkycreationsbylinda.com, and you have the option. You can either do the subscription where it will automatically charge your credit card every month, and after 6 months you will receive a $25 in product. I'll email you and you can send me your order, and then that will be shipped with your next kit. Or if you want to only subscribe for this one kit and not do the subscription, there is a link on my website to do that as well. If you go to inkycreationsbylinda.com, you will see a page. It's the monthly card club, and in that it will give you information on the sketch butterflies. And again, if you want July, this is June. If you want June's ordering special, use this host code and place your order of $35 or more by the end of the month, and that will be shipped to you the beginning of July. Have a great day.